Today I'm going to update and clean out the shelter. We're going to get some of this these foam panels removed off here. We tried to use it, or I tried to use it as a little bit of a root cellar design. Not going to work where we are in Oklahoma. And too hot. So I'm going to go ahead and get things cleaned out. It's turned into more of a storage area. And we've got some inclement weather coming in. So today is just as good a day as any to get this cleaned out. And we're going to kind of refab some things. Looks like a hinge needs to be welded back in place. That gets popped off. Get all this debris off the top. Make sure our vent is operating as it should. And then just take a few minutes and kind of vacuum the inside, replace glue traps, and we're going to get all the storage stuff out of there. And then solar generators are charged, and we'll get that, and a weather radio, and probably a few handheld Baofangs in there, and some other essentials. You know, the whole point behind the storm shelter is not keep all your crap in. Terrible example right here, right? But as you just saw, there's certainly not room for 5 people to get in there. So I'm going to clean that out one day. You know, maybe we'll have a bunker, and then you can keep all your valuables underground. That's a whole nother problem, a whole nother video. But get your storm shelter where it will house the people that you need to keep safe, and everything else is replaceable. All right. See what we can get done. All right, I got this stuff cleaned off the top here, and it looks like I've got 2 busted hinges on this. Actually, the top 2. The bottom one seems good, but I went to go open up this door and realized that we're getting some movement on that. So we're going to use the wire welder and see if we can get that welded back up. All right, while I am taking this time to clean out the things, if you could go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button, and maybe share this video with somebody else who lives in such an area that needs to prep their storm cellar, it would be greatly appreciated and help the channel growth. There's a link for this welder down below. It has been extremely beneficial here on the homestead, and a good little DIY beginner welder for everybody. Well, when I get down here and look, it really ain't no wonder why their welds broke. They did not hardly have, here, let's see. This is how they welded it from the factory. Just those little spots. So I'm going back and beefing things up with the wire welder now. Where you got to be careful you don't get into the other hinge body, the other half of the hinge. But we can certainly do better than that. And so it goes. So I have this welder plugged into just a GFI here on the outside of the house, 20 amp circuit, and it is powering it without a problem on about the mid voltage setting, and you're able to get enough penetration there with the flux core welding. And then for the grinder, I'm just using a Milwaukee cordless grinder. It's one of my everyday use tools here on the homestead. I'll put a link to both of these down below. And the rest of this is just me doing a bunch of trips in and out of the shelter, carrying out all of the supplies that I have stockpiled in there over the years, and kind of used the shelter for things other than it was made for. And now we are trying to get things back in line and get them cleaned up and in use for what their intended purpose is. Okay, if you haven't ever used these before, what you're going to want in your storm cellar is these glue traps. These are Max Catch by Catchmaster. I don't know. I'll put a link down below. I don't remember how many comes in a pack. Probably 100. And they fold up like this. And you just set them in your corners. So what I do is these perforated lines on here, I fold along those lines. You can also use these laying down flat, but when you have kids, it's not always the best. So you fold it along those lines, reach in here, pull off the whatever, the liner, and then you're just going to fold this into here. And there you go. And you're going to set that along your baseboard or in corners. And this thing works terrific for scorpions. You'll catch black widows and stuff in it too, but the scorpions are really what we use them for. And they have been a game changer for our place. All right, so we're in the storm cellar. And this is one of the primary places that I will use these glue traps. The scorpions are horrendous about using the storm cellar as their home. So we're going to place a glue trap in each corner, which is way overkill for a small area like this. But because there is very little human amusement down here, we go overkill because nobody's down here very often. And there you have it, one in each corner. And the storm cellar is ready to go now. Now I will spray some like Ortho. Let me get out of here. Some Ortho 360 along the outside and around the base of the vent, just trying to keep there from being other creatures inside the shelter when we go in there. Okay, so here is how I set up the shelter for last night's storm. I had 2 mag mount antennas that I put on top here, and go inside, ran my wires in. Let's see if we can get this door to prop open. Okay, so ran my wires in, and this is all that we have in here for right now. So got a fan, it's got a light built onto the back of it. We got the Blue Eddy, was charged up, and that way we could run our cell phones and all. I let this run for a little bit. Then I had the UV5R with an adapter, and I will do a link for these down below. The adapter to hook onto the mag mount so that I could still get radio signal in here, and I could reach our local repeaters. And then I had my Uniden scanner. This, let's see here, this BC365 CRS. It'll scan other stuff, but I was primarily had it set up to be able to scan the weather stations last night. So the way this is set up right now, which we do have, we've got battery backup, so I don't need that on, but we can turn on. And then with that handheld, I can also reach out to my repeaters if we were in a bind or I needed to make communication. And then on here, let's see if we can get this. I'm not going to worry about setting this up, but for now, I had this running off the Blue Eddy. So that was what we did and how we had service, or signal rather, inside here. So a way to listen to the weather, and then a way to communicate aside from the cell phone. And then with having the Blue Eddy in there, we had a chance to be able to charge the batteries, or our cell phones rather, and also a fan. So let me know what else you would put in your storm shelter, or what you do put in your storm shelter. Kind of curious. We've got little bags that we take in there with us. We can cover those in another video, but having comms and being able to monitor things inside the antennas there, fix that. And you could just use one antenna, and you'd have to swap in between your handheld unit and your scanner if that's what you're trying to do. But that was how we had things set up, and hopefully we'll not need them again for a very long time. I'm going to take the Blue Eddy out, and I'm going to go charge it. And I've got half a mind to just mount a solar panel up here, and then leave a solar generator in there and just let it maintain it all the time. I have not decided. The way this door seals, running the wires in like that is not a bad deal. It's not going to pinch those wires. However, maybe at some point I might drill a hole and run a grommet through the side of the shelter. But for right now, this is a temporary deal. I have not set this up like this before, but it worked out like a champ. And with the door closed and all, I had great service in there and was able to reach my local repeaters, monitor things, and communicate in times of need. So, all right. I hope you found that useful. Please let me know what you put in your shelters and what you're keeping with you. And if you aren't, are you not in a tornado area, or do you not have a plan for dealing with storms? So, all right, folks, we'll catch you all next video. Mountain Wizard out. See ya.